Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and also like my videos. In this video, we're going to focus on question 7G. So what is question 7G all about? So question 7G is an identity. You've been given an identity to prove. Question 7G. Our question is that prove that cos x plus y multiplied by cos x minus y is equal to cos squared x minus sine squared y. So I would advise you to start with the most complicated part. So when you look at these two sides, this side seems to be more complicated than this side. So we are going to derive this from this side. So let us see how we're going to do that. Like I said, make sure that you are familiar with trigonometric identities because they are always used. So without the knowledge of trigonometric identities, it's going to be very difficult for you to solve any trigonometric question. Any trigonometric identity question. So let us try to revise some of the trigonometric identities. So let us focus on cosine, sum, and difference trigonometric identities. So we say if you've got cos a plus b, this is the same as cos a times cos b, then minus. So if there is a plus there in the brackets, here is going to be minus. So minus sine a times sine b. So this is one of the trigonometric identity. And then if you've been given cos a minus b, everything will remain the same except the signs. So this is cos a, cos b, but the sign are going to switch. Since there is a negative there, here are going to be plus. Sine a, sine b. So you need to be careful. When you're dealing with cosine, make sure that the sign switches. If you're dealing with sine, make sure that the function switches, but the sign remains the same. So the sign will be maintained in the sine functions, but the functions will just switch. Here, the sign switch in cosine. So now, for that one, we are going to use this expression because there is a positive sign between x and y. For this one, we are going to use, or it's going to be used for this expression. Okay, so now let us try to expand. So we're going to expand. So this is the same as, so if we expand, our a is x and our b is y. So the first one is cos, open brackets, x plus y. So we know that it's going to be, our a is cos x times cos y. Then since there is a positive sign, it's going to be negative. Sine x, sine y. So they're going to be enclosed in brackets. Then the second one. So the second one is cos, open brackets, x minus y. So everything will remain the same except the sign. So we're going to have cos x, cos y. Then the sign is going to switch to positive. So positive sine x, sine y, enclosed in the brackets. So what's next? The next thing that we are going to do is just to distribute. So we are going to multiply that by that and also by that. And then this by this and also by that. So let us try to expand. Cos x, cos y times cos x, cos y. It's the same as cos squared x and cos squared y. Cos x, cos y times sin x, sin y. So this is positive cos x, cos y, and then times sin x, sin y. What else? So now we come this at that stage, okay? So we're going to say sine x sine y times cos x cos y. So this is negative. So you see minus cos x cos y sine x sine y. If you want, you can write it as sine x sine y cos x cos y. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. And then negative sine x times, so negative sine x sine y times this. So this is the same as negative sine squared x sine squared y. Okay, so now what are we going to do when we reach this stage? So we know that this is the same as this, but just that the signs they are interchanged. Okay, so signs have been interchanged. So positive that minus negative this. I mean positive that minus positive this. So it's the same as 0. So this and this will cancel. What are we remaining with? We're remaining with cos squared x cos squared y, then minus sine squared x sine squared y. Are we yet done? Not. We haven't yet done. So what are we going to do when we reach this stage? Because remember that we want to derive something which is cos squared x minus sine squared x. But what we have is something different. So how are we going to derive that? At this point, we are going to use another identity. So what identity are we going to use here? So we are going to use the Pythagoras identity. So what is the Pythagoras state? So the Pythagoras identities for cosine and sine is equal to, for example, if you have got cos squared x plus sine squared x is equal to 1. Okay, so now we are going to make cos squared x as a subject to a formula. So this one is equal to 1 minus sine squared x. So when you bring this to the other side. Okay, so now what if we make sine squared x as a subject to a formula? Or let us say that if we make sine squared y. Okay, so where there's x, replace with y. So it's going to be, this is going to be sine squared y is equal to what? So sine squared y is equal to 1 minus cos squared y. So we've got another expression there. So make sure that you keep these expressions in your mind because we're going to use them to find the final answer. So our expression that we had was cos squared x cos squared y minus sine squared x sine squared y. So now where there is sine squared y, we are going to replace with this. And then where there is cos squared x, we are going to put this. Okay, so that will go there. And then this going to, sorry, go there. Okay, to go there. So now let us try to put everything that we have. So we've got, let us say that. So cos squared x, we said is the same as 1 minus sine squared x, then multiplied by cos squared y. So minus, what about sine squared y? So sine squared y, we said that the same as 1 minus cos squared y multiplied by sine squared x. Okay, so now let us just try to expand. Cos squared y times 1, that is cos squared y. And then cos squared y times negative sine squared x. That is cos squared y sine squared x. Let us try to distribute the negative sign. Negative times 1, that is negative 1. Negative 1 times sine squared x. So that is sine squared x. Negative 1 times negative cos squared y. That is positive cos squared y. Times sine squared x. So that is positive cos squared y sine squared x. Okay, so if you look here, you're going to see that this and that is the same. And we can add them, which will give us 0. So when you add that, and that is going to give us 0. So now our final answer is going to be cos squared y, then minus, so that, so okay, sine squared x. So this is our final solution. This is what we had on our right hand side. So this is what you have to do. Thank you guys for watching. This is all I got for you. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel.